Here he is, in the red, to the right side of the map. Our pros player for the Slayers team who was just able to win the last map, tie the series, force the third game. It is
Slayers Alicia.
And he's up against our blue StarTale player as a Terran on dual side in a pretty comfortable position, winning the first game, losing the second.
StarTale Bomber.
Bomber just coming up from the Code A qualifier, and he definitely wants to avoid to go back to Code B.
Yeah, nobody wants to go there. And, you know, on our danger days, one of every 2 players will have to go. It's pretty tough. It's a scary thing to have to play in the first round of Code A. It's something that everyone has to go through. There's basically, you know, to be a GSL player, you kind of have to go through through 2 steps. Through the Code A qualifier and then the Code A round of 48. If you can get there, then you're in Code A. You worry about it next season, for example, but once you get past this first one, you can take away the fear of, what if I'm just out of the GSL and I never play again? That's just a really scary thought that you have to think about.
Bomber is using a very early second supply depot in order to deny the scouting for Alicia. We mentioned before that in dual side, if you are able to deny scouting, it's really hard for the Protoss player to actually see what's happening. And he might actually just... No, okay, he would have lost the probe, so he's retreating. But because of this, he knows already that there is no gas at this point in time. There might be a little bit of a delayed gas, but with the minerals invested into the second supply depot, he has at least a few information. Well, let's see what Bomber is up to, what he wants to do here.
Yeah, it looks like Bomber wants to go for a 1 barracks expand. He's even going to make his command center on the high ground to keep it a secret from his opponent. And it's a mind game type move from Bomber, since his opponent... It's a map where, like we mentioned so many times, it's so hard to predict what the Terran's going to do, and Bomber is going to go for a command center here on a map where you don't have to. It's a map where it's much more common to see gas builds, and Alicia is going to have to play in the dark, and he takes a second gas but does not mind from it, interestingly enough.
At the same time, we have now for Bomber not a follow-up so far. We sometimes have a Terran player just going, there it is, double barracks, which is kind of the standard, but sometimes a few Terrans are trying to cut corners and go straight away for the double refinery before they actually start with their barracks, so that they have the tech a little bit faster and can start with their factory and the starport a lot sooner.
Caldor, we're seeing only Chrono Boost on Warp Gate research for Alicia. He's not using that second gas. I think what we're going to see here, based on this probe, is he's going to make a Nexus. Now, he could do a 4-gate with Nexus cancel, or he could do a 4-gate with the expansion. It's just a really strong pressure build to do as you expand. He definitely wants to put some pressure on. Now he's Chrono Boosting his Nexus, though. He's still not using the second gas. This build seems really weird the more it goes on.
Well, Bomber is playing it a little bit more standard, so we have some variations for Alicia. Bomber is actually playing it really safe here, using another bunker at the front. Very interesting, so playing it very, very safe, even against gateway pressure, he would be fine.
Yeah, you're exactly right. This build from Alicia is evolving a little bit more. It looks like he's going to go up to just 3 gateways, and has put his probes in the second gas now. And likely will add a robo fairly soon then, since he's not going to be putting on that super fast pressure like we thought, and is only going to be doing it with 3 gateways. He will attack and pressure his opponent a little bit, but it's not going to be a big scary push. And there's the robotics on the production tab.
Robotics right away. Well, we have Stim being researched now for Bomber. He also has the factory on its way. We don't have his expansion on the low ground. He is still using it on the high ground and not hovering it down. So we'll push out probably pretty soon. And I don't know. Dual side games always get me so tensed up because I'm just waiting for something to happen. I'm waiting for this attack of the Terran player, what exactly they're going to do. It's just such a small map, and while in a Zerg versus Protoss or Zerg versus Terran scenario, usually no, the game is going to evolve. There are just so many possibilities in Terran versus Protoss.
This is a tough map to call a lot of the time, and both players are playing a little bit in the dark right now. It's scary, it's tense, it's the final map here. Starport is going down with the reactor. We're going to see Stim finish up here, and the one thing that he does not have is an engineering bay, which is a little bit surprising. Otherwise, we would see probably that Stim, 2 medevac, +1 timing. In this case, I think we're still going to see 2 medevacs with these Marines, just without +1. probe comes up and sees the bunker and that Marine count, it's going to be pretty telling of exactly what's going on. He's going to know those medevacs are coming out pretty soon here. And how will he react? This is going to be a pretty tough push to hold because he's powered up his gateways only to 3. He's made so many sentries, but he doesn't have any real attacking units, and these Marines are going to do so much DPS.
He just doesn't have anything that really deals damage, Alicia, that is. We have a bomber with all those Marines. He doesn't have combat shield just yet, but Stim will be done fairly soon, and if he starts moving out and research combat shield at a time, it will be roughly done when he hits the natural of his opponent. So at this point, this is very scary, and we're just waiting for Bomber to make a move. Well, we have pylons to the left side of the map, 2 of them indeed.
I feel like you know, what we're seeing from Alicia here is he's not quite reacting. He now sees what's up. He starts robotic support bay, which he needed to start earlier because he was chrono boosting out a second observer, and then he started an immortal after seeing that many Marines, and that's something that is a lot of gas put on that Immortal. Yeah, the Immortal's a good unit in the early game, and we're still kind of in that early phase of the game. But against this many Marines with medevacs coming out, the Immortal is going to do practically nothing. And this is a really, really tough push to hold, especially on dual site where there's such a wide open natural and 2 different attack fronts.
He needs great force fields here.
He absolutely does, or he will die.
This drop, actually, if he is able to sneak in. Is there another observer? I don't think so. There are 3
sick
stalkers.
force fields over here, catching the entire one side of Bomber's army. And he may even catch the drops as well. No, not quite.
Wow, nice micro with the dropships here. But both of the medivacs already dead. And here comes Bomber stimming in, taking down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these stalkers. And maybe, yes, he takes down a lot of the probes as well. A lot of damage dealt here. He needs to retreat though, beautiful force field, but he does a ton of damage to his opponent.
Yeah, he definitely does. Taking out
11 workers.
11 workers, but he loses his entire army, and now that there's a robotic support bay here, chrono boosting out of Colossus, this is a scary position to be in for Bomber. The army supply 36 to 25 in Alicia's favor. And yeah, that's only 10 supply different, but that is so important. When you have that Colossus tech, your opponent's going to now desperately have to make Vikings. He's not going to be able to build up that medevac count like he wants. He only has 2 because he lost both medevacs, as you mentioned earlier, with that drop, so he lost so much. And now Alicia is going to be the one with the scary army pushing out, and Bomber is going to be the one on the defensive, the one who's running scared. Ooh, I like this. He's adding 2 more gateways, really wants to commit to this pressure, and he may even be able to end the game. He knows how vulnerable Bomber is here, and he's going to try to use that.
On the other hand, we have switched to Marauders now, so not as many Marines as you would think. So as long as he only has 1 Colossi and doesn't even have the range upgrade, there's always the threat of Bomber just stimming in, getting a nice angle, and taking down the Colossi, so he has to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, he has to wait for 2 in range.
Yeah. He's moving out right now, but at this point we already have a fair Viking count for Bomber. He's on 2, he's adding another 2, so he will be on 4 against 2 Colossi. And the one thing that is really great for Alicia is this observer in position at the natural.
Oh, he's adding the 6th gateway Caldor. He is basically going all in with this. This push doesn't work, he's probably going to lose the game. I mean, by work, it doesn't necessarily have to end the game, but he has to trade really well with it, kill all of his opponent's Vikings, kill the majority of his army, for example, before getting out. If he gets crushed here, Bomber's got a better infrastructure. He's getting +1 right now. It's going to be done. There are no upgrades. There's no even forges in sight for Alicia, no Twilight Council. And this is a pretty big commitment here. Now, he may catch this army actually moving out. That would be huge, away from the bunkers.
The thing is that we have really a lot of Vikings. I think he already has 6. He's getting, yes, he has 6. He's getting number 7 and number 8 now.
But he's trapped the army away, and he's going to come into the natural here. This is really lucky for Alicia. He's going to be able to take out 2 of those Vikings right away.
Needs to come back, and he does with his army, but he might already be a little bit too late. The force fields are already gone. He needs to stim in here, and he does. The Vikings from 2 sides are attacking now. Another set of force fields is arriving.
This army's going to get crushed.
Oh, yeah. He's taking down the Colossi from 2 sides. He's attacking now, doing a fair amount of damage. Those Immortals have to go, finally dying. And now Alicia is just losing everything here.
Yeah, he killed a ton of workers, but this is Terran versus Protoss, man. Those workers are not as important as they are in other matchups. It's 46 to 23. That's literally double. But Alicia will likely not hold this push.
Yeah, and Bomber is moving out now, and he can use the mules at least for the time being in order to make up for the workers that he lost. He has to replenish them. He lost 26 and killed only 11 on his own. So right now we have once again the attack of the Terran player just trying to move in here with 96 army supply, overall supply against 81. And let's see if Alicia has a chance of holding this off.
I mean, it's just going to be so tough. There's so many Vikings out here. The only chance to hold this is good Colossus micro, but with this many Vikings out, the Colossi aren't going to last very long. I like this factory tanking some hits here, also granting vision. The Nexus is definitely going to fall. Remember, he has +1 versus no upgrades for Alicia, and +1 armor is about to finish here.
The Nexus is gone, and now he's moving in once again as his opponent is blocked at the choke point, killing a ton of ropes here too. And this is just not looking good for Alicia, not at all.
Yeah, Alicia's all-in essentially has failed. He did not have enough buffer for his Colossi. His Zealots were out of position, killing the SCVs during that fight, and then he got surrounded. And Bomber is going to play things safe. Not your usual Bomber style to just go home like this, but that's exactly what he's going to do. He knows he's ahead in upgrades, and he's going to feel comfortable to pull back here, at least to get some more forces up to go for a second attack. I mean, what can Alicia really do? Even though Bomber's behind in workers, 33 to 25, it just doesn't matter. He's not that behind in workers, and he has double command centers and fuels.
Just start the Nexus and cancel it again. And Bomber is moving in, but I really like that he's delaying the attack here. I really like that he is just waiting a little bit. But now here comes the attack. Leading with the Vikings.
Doesn't even stem. Doesn't even have to. Now he's going to stem.
Well, another Colossus dies, and wow, this army is just blown apart. Only one Colossus left, and now he can stem it.
Yeah, now he can just do the crucial stem. Kills the last sentry, which means no more delays. He can just run up that ramp.
And he does.
Yep.
He's just forcing his way in at this point, takes down the Colossus, and it is over. Bomber did it. Alicia, GG's.
GG. Going to the next round, and Alicia will see you in the qualifiers and in Team League because you're out.
Bomber takes it with 2-1. The Star Tail player advances into the next round of Code A. Job well done. And Slayers Alicia visibly disappointed here.
Nice hold by Alicia against those drops. He did lose a little bit, but I feel like he saw the opportunity there. He was like, all right, my army size is bigger than yours. Decided to go for an all-in though, and Bomber held it. Bomber was out of position, which at first seemed to be an unfortunate circumstance for him, but then with the way he came in from two sides, it works out so well for him. Yeah.
There was nowhere to retreat to. It was just like a trap, and he completely snapped from two sides. He was attacked by stimmed Marauders and Marines, and also the Vikings. There was nowhere to go for the Colossi. He couldn't just retreat. So that was really, really bad for him. Lost everything.
He lost everything, and then from there, yeah, he killed a ton of workers, but it doesn't matter if you kill your opponent's workers if you can't hold off his next attack. And
exactly.
I really think that Bomber got kind of lucky in some ways with his ability to trap there, but how he executed it was really well done. And Alicia took a risk. He took a really big risk with that all-in, and he got totally smashed down. 6 gateways, 2 Colossi with range, and that would kill almost any player. It may have even killed Bomber if his army was in the right position, and if Alicia had the chance to micro it like he wanted to, he may have been able to win that, but that just was not the case.
And before we head into our Terran versus Terran with Nada and Bjorn, we have another Protoss versus Zerg. But first of all, we are headed into a 5-minute break, and then we will be back with the next game of the day. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back in a few. This is the GSL Code A with Colin Wolf.